Hey, it's AJ from KINCROME. We've got a different tool in this session today, and this is the swaging tool. It's a little bit different. You might not have heard about it. It's really handy for making balustrade fencing wire and crimping it together. Come over and have a look, and I'll take you through some of the features of the tool. So it's got pretty wide jaws on there with 3 different settings. So when you open them up, you can see the numbers 1, 2, and 3. And what these relate to is the size of the swage that you're going to put in there to crimp. So 1 really relates from 1 millimeter all the way to 2 millimeters. Number 2 will fit a swage of 2 millimeters to 3, and then 3 millimeters and beyond. Okay. The other feature of it is it does have a little cutting mechanism here. So when you open the jaws, you can cut the wire that you need to do. Okay. So let me show you what we're actually going to make with this particular session, and this is what I'm talking about: wire balustrading and how you finish it off. So creating this loop so that you can fasten it, and you're going to crimp this swage to it to keep it in place. The other option that you might have are wire rope grips, which look like this. I find them a little chunky and they get in the way, and you're always constantly retightening them, and that's why a swaging tool, much neater, sleeker. I don't know if it's stronger, but it's sleeker, a much better finish. And that's why we're going to use the tool to do that. So let's go through that. And we'll start off by going through, if you're going to start doing this as a project, what you actually need. And there's 2 parts to it. You're going to need a thimble, and you're also going to need the swage. The swage is where the wire goes through, and that's what you actually crimp at the very end. Now, just as a tip there, if you use 3 millimeter rope wire, you need a 3 millimeter thimble and a 3 millimeter swage. These are easily picked up at your local hardware store. So I've got those, and I've got 3 millimeter, 3 millimeter, and 3 millimeter ready to go. So first thing I'm going to do is cut myself off a length, and I'm going to use the swaging tool to do that. So I'll just open this up a little bit. I'm going to use the bottom of I'll use the top one so you can see it. It just goes in here, and I'm just going to compress this. And it cuts it off nice and neat. You don't want any splintering with this, because you can get that into your hands and it's really hard to get out. Okay, so I've got a nice fine cut here, and I should be able to start the process. Now what you need to do, the first part is to get your swage and just thread that through. Okay, go right through, turn it around so it makes it easy for you to turn over, and then you're going to turn it over inside itself and re-thread it back on. There you go, perfect. That's way too big for this thimble, so all I need to do is just adjust this a little bit, pull it in. And a good tip is that you really want the end here to be either really flush or only just poking out. So I want to make it about there, but I need to keep adjusting this back. So it takes a little bit. Once I've got it roughly where I want it, I just need to pull it. It might be better to do that on the surface there. There you go. Now that's pretty good. Probably want to take it in a little bit more, so I'll do that. Okay, so I don't want it too much here. When I crimp this, it'll bring it in really nicely. Plus this is perfect. Okay, next thing to do is this is ready for crimping. You can do it 2 hands if you like. It's a little bit harder to do that in a situation like this because I don't have 3 hands. So I'm going to use the table here, open the jaws up as much as I can. And I'll get you to have a really good look at this. I'm going to thread that through and leave it upright. And I'm always going to start at the end. Okay, around about there. So I've got that in place, it's ready to go. And all I do is close the jaws all the way until these 2 ends over here meet. Okay, that's crimped, and I can have a bit of a look at it. Okay, that's how it looks. This is not going really anywhere. All right, now I'm just going to finish it off. A swage this size, I can get 3 different compressions on it. I'm just going to check it at the back, make sure it's right. Go again. And then 1 more in the middle to clean it right up. So there you go. That's perfect. It's really ready to go. Okay, so you can finish off your balustrating fencing. They're also really handy in marine applications as well. So on the yacht or on the boat, there's really countless uses for this. It's really useful. So there you go, the swaging tool.